And I think it should be recording now. Perfect. Okay, welcome freshmen. So we're here for Freshman Orientation, and we wanted just to share with you a couple of big ideas. What I'd like to do right now is I want to kind of share my screen. So we have a simple presentation that we wanted to show you today. Just going to ask Ms. Lusader to help me by allowing me to share a screen real quick, and I don't know if she can grant me those permissions.
Yep, ready for you.
All right, thank you so much. All right, everyone, and we can certainly share this. So when we finish the meeting, we want to welcome you back. And again, if I'm being honest, we wanted to start at 2. It's 2:08. We've had to fumble around a little bit. There's clearly some hijinks in the chat, and I think this is a little bit about how the school year is going to go. We're just going to roll with it, do our very best, ask for students and adults to give themselves patience and flexibility, and for you all to be your very best selves. I want to welcome you to the 2020 school year. And just start by giving you some, background information. We're about a little over 2,050 students on our campus. That's 712. The high school has about 1,400. So in your graduating class, there's 380 Spartans. You're the largest class on campus. Remember that or if you don't know this, our really kind of mantra around here, our vision statement, our mission statement is we are committed to personal growth and academic excellence. And you are starting high school at a really wonderful, wonderful school with the great faculty that are behind you. I was meeting with them this morning, and they are very excited to see you on Monday, even though they wish that we could all see you in person and school is open. We're still working on that, and hopefully you're doing all of those great behaviors like wearing masks when you're outside, keeping social distance, wash your hands, so we can, have the virus go in a different direction and hopefully get back to school in some form of face-to-face function. Sorry about the lame picture, but that was a super fun day last year when we did tailgate. And as soon as hopefully sports will return and school will return face-to-face, we'll look forward to bringing out the band and cheerleading and you all for a cookout and hopefully a victory in Spartan Stadium. So we look forward to seeing you out when those opportunities arise. All right. I want to share with you our administrative team. You have 3 administrators who care about you. Look forward to getting to know your names, want to hold you accountable to our rules, want you to be your best selves, and hopefully, help you mature and have a great experience in high school. Mr. Ito is the assistant principal who will be working with grades 10 and 11. Mrs. Kalb is our assistant principal. She's out on a medical leave. She would otherwise work with grades 9 and 12, so be really kind of your administrator that would work. And then I am the principal, Mr. Cartnell. My first name is Jim. So Mr. Cartnell and I, work with Mr. Ito, and we basically, help oversee the high school. So I'll be stepping in while Mrs. Kalb is away and working with your grade. Anything that you need, or if there's needs for discipline, which we hope there won't be, I'll be the person that you'll be working with, okay? So we look forward to a really, really great year. Just want to let you know that we have certain administrative responsibilities. So if you ever would need, to kind of work your way to one of our offices. As the principal, I oversee the departments of counseling, English and math. In addition, I'll take on science while Mrs. Kalb is away. Mr. Ito oversees physical education, visual and performing arts, the career and technical educations like LCTV or culinary arts, or if you get older, retail marketing when you're in upper grades, as well as social science. He'll also be working with the world language department, okay? We don't have to spend too much time on this, but this is kind of how your administrators break up their day and organize responsibility for the governance of the school. Most students, to be candid, don't really have to deal with this too much, but we wanted to always give it to you in these orientations so that you know where to find it. And this email presentation will be emailed to you once we're done. All right, here's probably among the most important. Let's look at our bell schedule and make sure everyone's clear. So we have a different bell schedule than in the past, although it has a lot of the same attributes or characteristics. The first of which is that we have a regular day schedule that will run with 40-minute periods, not 56-minute periods if you were here in 8th grade, but 40-minute periods. And you can see that period 1 on Monday starts at 8:25 and will go to 9:04. Period 2 has 3 minutes, so added to it, so we can have you look at our daily announcements and check out the social media posts that we're putting on Instagram. And the day ends at after 6th period at 1:35. And this will be the schedule, the regular schedule, for the first 2 weeks of school, right? So that means for the week of the 17th, it starts on Monday, and the week of the 24th, it starts in 2 Mondays, you will be done at 1:35. The teachers will be available to answer any questions that you may have at 1:35 until 2:05 for office hours, all right? What you see at the bottom, which is the small group experience, or periods that we're calling the Spartan Connect, that won't start or will not start until the week of August 31st at the earliest, all right? And I'll be sending out more information about that. The block day schedule for those students brand new to La Cañada Unified happens on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and it will in this new schedule too. But the block schedule will also not start until the 3rd week of school. So that means next week, you're going through all 6 of your classes on the regular schedule. The 2nd full week of class, you'll go on your regular schedule. In the 2nd week of class, during that afternoon time, we're going to invite you back to a session like this. We're going to hold the class by class assembly. Yours will be on Thursday, not this coming Thursday, but in 2 Thursdays. I think if I were to look at the calendar, that is going to be on August 27th. Okay, so your class by class assembly is going to be in the afternoon sessions from 2:05 to 3:15 on August 27th. All right? Okay, good. Real quick. 3rd week of school, the week of August 31st, Monday and Tuesday is going to be the 40-minute schedule. And then Wednesday is going to be periods 1, 3, and 5 block day. Those block days now are not 104 minutes like they had been before the pandemic, but rather 80 minutes. And at the end of the day, you still have your office hours with your teachers that you can ask questions, check in, get help. If you have questions about exams, once they start, questions about essays, how to do better in classes, that would be the time to direct those questions at your teachers. And then when the small groups happen on block days, they'll be dedicated for clubs and small group experiences. So if you're in choir, for instance, Dr. Brookie may call you back to sing. If you're in theater, Mr. Ike might call you back. If you're in the band, Mr. Stone might call you back, and so on, okay? So let me pause right now. I don't know if there's any questions that I should be minding in the chat, either Mr. Ito or Ms. Lusader.
Yes, there are 2 questions. One, you just answered a little bit about small groups on campus. So if there's anything else to expand upon that, that was one question.
Sure. Good. Let me go for that right now. Okay, so starting on the week of the 31st, and if that gets pushed back, we'll announce it. But starting on the week of the 31st, that's in a handful of Mondays and 3 Mondays from now, we're going to call small groups of students back to campus for the time period 2:05 to 3:15. And the time period is used for the purposes of having students interact with both their peers and their teacher in small groups. And we'll define small groups of about 8 to 10 or so students. So that means, let's say if you are in a physics class, like most of you are, and let's say there's 36 students in that class, we'll probably break it up by 4 and invite 9 students or so to that first session, and then schedule everyone else to be coming to their classes. And what you'll do is not come and have some, awkward icebreaker lesson with your teachers. That would be weird. But come in and hear, more about school rules, how to be successful in the class, how to get help, how to study and prepare, how to uphold academic honesty now that you're in high school and you're receiving transcript grades or grades that are noted on a permanent transcript, and all the other things that make students successful in classes. Really, how to build a classroom community and culture, because we really, when we went to distance learning in the spring, we had the benefit of 7 months of learning or face-to-face instruction and knowing kind of how class rules work. Now we're having to be doing that when we're online, and sometimes that doesn't provide the opportunity for everyone's questions to be heard. And so those small group experiences that we're calling Spartan Connect, that will happen on Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays, most likely aligned to your periods. So like Monday, we'll have period 1 and 2, Tuesday, period 3 and 4, and Friday, period 5 and 6. We'll call small groups back and you'll know when you need to come. And when I now say come, it's come to something that your teachers are organizing virtually through the telepresence apps like Zoom or Google Meets, okay? And you'll just have small group opportunities to talk about the classes, about answer your questions, ensure that you know exactly how you can be successful, and to ensure that you get to know your teacher and your teacher gets to know you a little bit. Ms. Lucetta, what was that second question?
There's one that was a follow-up that came from just what you were chatting about, asking, is that campus time mandatory or is it an option? So the small group time.
Thanks. It's a mandatory experience that we'll be taking attendance in for all students. But remember, students will be coming because we're trying to do small groups, more or less to your classes 1 time per month. It may happen more frequently in smaller classes, but because we want to do small groups, not everyone can come at the same time. And it's also, I guess, important to note that we had planned this really before the governor announced that we would, go to or be online, start the school closed, physically the school being closed and starting online. And so what I think is one of the really strong parts about this schedule, and I'm open to the fact that you may disagree, is that this provides us an opportunity to actually start bringing smaller groups of students back to campus, perhaps even at a moment before we're able to bring, let's say, half the school back at a time to go through periods 1 through 6. So that's the goal. And you'll be hearing more from me in the coming days about that.
Awesome, thank you. One question about culinary. Is that class planned or going to be canceled because of our current circumstance?
Thanks, everyone. These are great questions, and it's in part the reason why we've come together in a meeting of this kind. You're right. You're right to ask questions around, kind of experiential classes and what does that look like in a digital or in a distance learning environment. We're taking the position that we hope school can physically reopen soon. We don't know if that will. The pandemic will only knows. But we hope that school can physically open soon. And before that happens and we remain in distance learning, we're carrying on with all of our classes. And so all the students in culinary will meet Chef Brown. He's an amazing man and a gifted teacher. He'll introduce himself and he'll conduct class, albeit digitally, and you'll be cooking. But instead of cooking at the kitchen here at LCHS, you'll be cooking at home and, uploading videos about the recipes that you're making and writing reviews about the food or dish that you prepared. And similarly will be, obviously subjects like ceramics or art will have to take a different approach because you're not physically here with the kiln at LCHS, but there may be the opportunity to, let's say, distribute clay, have you work at home, and then have a drop off to where Mr. Kaufman would be able to fire your pieces in the LCHS kiln, because he and many of the colleagues are at least given the opportunity to return back to work, meaning come into LCHS to conduct business. Keep going, Ms. Lucetta. Those are really good questions. Anything else?
Yes. This is actually a really good question. Somebody's asking about small schools. Do we have small schools in 912?
Oh, thank you. What a good idea that is. And whoever suggested that, again, my name's Jim Cartnell. I'm your high school principal, and I sure hope we have an opportunity to meet, and anyone that would be willing to work with me and the person to put the question forward to try and bring that about. We don't have small schools at high school. You are all members of the 9th grade, and we do not organize you as such. Although, Ms. Lucetta and I could probably both unmute and talk for much longer than we had scheduled today about how she and I have both, talked about why that would be a good idea. We just have not implemented it yet. So you are assigned to a counselor, you have your teachers, we have, times where we're asking the teachers to make sure that you're checking in all the time. And, but perhaps in the future, we could add a small school structure, and that might be a good thing. So would welcome a chance to work with any of the, amazing members of the class or a freshman class to bring that about, because I think that could be a good innovation. Ms. Lucetta, you want to add anything to that?
I also just want to say anybody listening that wants to get more involved, as Mr. Cardinal was just offering specifically around kind of school structure. I have a tech intern group and a tech support team, and there's a lot of cool things going on. So if you're techie, I would encourage you send me an email and join kind of our club and our team and help make a difference at your school. So my email will be included in kind of the follow-up email that goes out to all of you guys, but we would welcome your kind of good ideas and innovations.
That's awesome. Thank you very much. So I don't know if there's any other questions about schedule, but that was a big one. I think the most important thing, if you haven't heard anything that I've said, remember my name, you're still, rattling on in the chat because everyone is named James Cardinal, and that's just hilarious. Fine. Whatever, it happens, right?
I do like that you sort of have one of the students kind of chatted. It's a James Cardinal army. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You have a clone army.
Right,
I chose my background just to kind of represent.
Right. Thank you. So the most important part that we want you to hear is, please make sure that you're ready to learn at 8:25 and spend some time this afternoon or this weekend checking out your mylcusd.email so you can find the links to your Google Classroom so you know where to log in for your Zoom meeting or Google Meets, okay? Ms. Lucetta, is there anything else to kind of strengthen that statement? That's pretty much what we want them to do, right? Just be confident. School's starting on Monday. There's no doubt you're going to find where you need to go. Spend a little time being your outstanding selves finding that.
Yeah, just summing that up, I think all the teachers are planning on emailing parents and students today, tomorrow, or Sunday. You're going to get an email from them, but you'll also have the backup of going to Google Classroom, and you'll see directions there as well. So email and Google Classroom will be headed your way.
Cool. All right, good. We're going to move on from schedule. Just let you know there's a ton of stuff on our website, so you can check it out there if you like to. We're always putting up announcements. We're putting videos. Some of the icons you see at the right side of your screen are super important areas clearly where your class, roster and teacher and room assignments and all of that are available either on the mobile app or through your desktop. Counselors, ton of information, super important there. In the event that, the internet crashes or your camera is not working or you need help, make sure you're aware that you can send an email from another computer if you have to help@lcusd.net, right? Or click on the link for the technology help. The class link is an icon that I imagine you've used if you've been in LCUSD schools or the middle school for a time. You'll see electronic textbooks there and other important apps that are going to support your learning. And we've included the icon of the Spartan tip line just to let you know that your administrators really are working tirelessly, fully to support, a great campus community and thriving culture. And if you see stuff that is, just, wrong, hurting people, derogatory or trying to tear them down, we ask that you be an upstander and address that. But if you feel that for whatever reason you're not able to right now, and you want to provide us with information about that, you can put an anonymous or a non-anonymous comment in the so-called Spartan link and we'll follow up, okay? Sometimes students use that because they're worried about, friends or peers that maybe are, doing some things that are scary or you're worried about. Others put, things in there about items that they see, let's say in the restrooms or something that needs to be reported with regard to campus safety. And that just is another means by which students can reach out to administration in a safe and secure way to alert us to things that can get improved, okay? But I encourage you to go to our website. It's lchsspartans.net. It's got pretty much everything there, and we're really, really pushing to get a ton there. Also, check out our Instagram handle at Locking Out of High School. We try to upload some, I think they're kind of funny videos. Again, you may disagree, but we're trying, and we'll take your tips on how to even make that better. Okay, we really want this to work, everyone. And if you haven't already gotten it, I'm speaking with you really just as directly as I can, with a request to try and help make your high school experience positive. That your attitude matters, your energy matters, and we need it. We need it to make this school to continue to have it be great and even get better. All right, Ms. Lucette, or anything in the chat?
I think there's a really good question that I was just typing the answer to, but specifically about how many minutes can you be late to class? And so I was just typing that you need to be there when class begins. But I think teachers, of course, are going to have a little bit of patience in the very beginning as we start to learn all of this. But expectations are going to be that 8:25, you're there and you're ready.
Yeah. So everyone, thanks for that. This provides an opportunity for me just to say something globally, and I want you to all hear it from me, particularly if you're watching this on the recorded session because you couldn't come to this live session. We are trying to work in a manner, obviously under very unique and challenging circumstances given this global pandemic, but we are working in a manner that tries to have school be as normal or predictable and typical as possible. So a tardy is defined as when the bell rings or instruction begins, your teacher begins the class, and you're not present, that's a tardy. Now, I think that if class begins at 8:25 and there's no, virtual bell, although we can certainly look into that, Ms. Lusader.
Oh yeah, actually, LCHS Go team has instituted a Chromebook extension that will do notifications for you.
Very good, right? So obviously, if it's 8:26 and you're not in class, that's not 8:25, and so you're tardy. Tardies, 3 tardies equal an absence. Absences are counted, and when you accrue too many, then we call you in and we have a talk about, you got to be on time to class. Let's not begin the year, even before the year, to talk with you about, kind of discipline and consequences, all of that. Just ask that, you're really doing best you can. If there's internet issues, have your parents or you call Miss Garola at the attendance line, just like if you missed it because you overslept or whatever. It's the same kind of thing. That'll be coded as an absence, and you just need to make sure that you understand that, like when LCHS is physically open, school is in session. There is no hold harmless policies like we operated in the spring. School is in session, attendance is being taken, school is on. It just unfortunately has to be on, or fortunately has to be on, in this distance learning environment to keep everyone safe. Yeah. Okay.
Great.
Just wanted to share with you briefly, everyone, that your administration is working towards these goals. And so, like your teachers will hold you accountable, I would ask the student body to be thinking about how you would grade us, me as your principal, for instance, as it regards at the end of the year, these 4 goals, excuse me. We are working to continue to improve school-wide communication. That means you'll see weekly newsletters from me. You'll see email updates from me or Mr. Ito. You'll see communications related to upcoming activities. We're going to continue to encourage you to follow, various, for instance, Instagram or social media accounts, so you're able to get notifications there if that's something your family allows you. We're also really working on campus culture and promoting a climate of care. We want to work with you. We don't want to work against you, have you think that we somehow don't wish your success. We want all of you to be successful. And we're open that success will look differently for each of you. We want you to be thriving in your classes, be involved in positive friend relationships, hopefully engage in all of the fun activities that school allows, even if we have to do them somewhat differently because of the pandemic. And all of that contributes to you having a positive experience on campus. And we are excited, even though we miss seeing you physically, that we're starting school again, because that's going to be pretty great. The year will present us, no doubt, with challenges. Some of them are already known. Some of them will be unknown. But the measure of a person, and I'm not I don't get paid by the philosophical word, but the measure of a person is really how one can respond to challenges and stay true to their character, stay true to their goals, and stay true to their vision. And that's what we're trying to do with you. And we hope that you'll help, and then help contribute to defining those visions and those goals, as I shared with you before. We're working with our faculty, students, and parents to share governance of the school. And so this isn't just Mr. Cardinal says, and it is, but rather we want you involved. Let me give you an example of one of the things that you can get involved with here. If you have been following the national debate about anti-racism and about how the institutional facets of racism need to be deconstructed, not only in schools across the country, but across society, we are taking steps towards considerations of how LCHS can help in that regard. There will be a principals committee. The application will be available to you by the 3rd week of school. I would encourage you to apply so that you can have your voice heard and you can help steer how LCHS engages with that important work. Similarly, we have an amazing student, associated student body, and we have some of our leaders on the call today. They're going to look for, volunteers. They're going to be looking for participants. They're going to look for enthusiasm, and you can help with them too. And it's another way of helping to govern this wonderful place that we'll all call home well. And then your administration obviously is working with the faculty and with all of our leadership colleagues to support effective online distance learning, to make sure that you and your teachers are progressing through the curriculum, that you are well, that we're being mindful about screen time, and then we're also supporting you with other services like counseling and the Wellness Center where appropriate. So let me pause. Ms. Lucette, or anything?
I'm just answering as fast as I can in the chat. There are a lot of questions about kind of just sports and PE and how all that will work. So if that's coming up in your slides, just know that that's a big question right now.
Hey, thanks a lot. I'll make sure I work that in.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Very quickly, everyone, because I want to leave time for our student panelists. I want to share with you a little bit about an initiative and a program that we've partnered with that's called Challenge Success. For the students that were with us in middle school, you've heard a little bit about Challenge Success. And Challenge Success, as the name of that program implies, seeks to understand that success is not measured in one's high school GPA or in ACT or SAT scores. As important as some of those things are, to be sure, to get into colleges, I don't want to deny that those are important. But so much more defines, an individual's success, a relational success with how you're, interacting with your family members, peer-to-peer success. How are you, kind of keeping with your friends, and are you, expanding your friend network? There's academic success that doesn't always have to be defined as getting the top grade. Are you learning? Are you developing skills? Are you becoming a better writer, a better reader, a more confident thinker and questioner? So this program called Challenge Success is a vehicle that your administration and faculty and students and parents are participating in to try and consider the various ways to make La Cañada High School a better place for our students, that understands that there's academic pressure here, that understands that there are forces that would lead you to believe that you need to do these kinds of classes to get to that kind of university, but also then seeks to slow down and say, high school, important as it is only a way station. I hope you know what that phrase means, a way station, a through station, a period of time important period of time that you are migrating through over these next 4 years that will help shape you as you continue your education and then get into the workforce, and hopefully then, start pursuing the goals of what your joyous, successful, and happy life will be. Let's not forget that you are, whatever age you are at, 14, some of you are 28 and you're back to the 9th grade for the 4th time. Good job. Right? I mean, you're just going to do your thing. And you'll have fun at high school, but high school is to try and set you up so you can continue to pursue your goals across the course of your life. The reason why we have this SPACE acronym at the bottom is just to give you an idea. When I said that this is a vehicle or a series of lenses through which we look to consider various facets of school, let me just pick one. I'll take the E of the SPACE framework. It stands for education for the whole community. So through that, we have tried to do any number of parent ed and community-based events that try and have your parents, grandparents, and community members understand some of the challenges and some of the realities that you all face with regard to maybe college or university admissions, with regard to social dynamics on campus, or with regard to any of the things that it would be important for them to know better so they can help support and love and care for you. All right. We'll talk more about challenge success across your course of high school, but I want to make sure that we address some of these other things too. Let's keep going. All right. We have a wellness center and an amazing counseling team, and they're all here for you. And so the wellness center is staffed by a dear colleague of mine named Miss Rachel Zoy, as well as Dr. Erica Smith. She's new to LCHS, but she's just wonderful, as well as my colleague Beth Mumper. And so these individuals and their emails are here in the event that you would need to reach out to the Wellness Center because you want to talk with someone. Distance learning sometimes can be isolating, or maybe you're having, something you like to speak with someone about. You have resources here at school to help you with that. And the pictures on the other side are just the ribbon cutting ceremony at the physical wellness center that we hope that you'll be able to see sometime during the course of your 9th grade year when we come back to campus. All right, we've talked already about school-wide communication. We're going to send it out through Aries Communication and through email to your mylcsd.net email address. I sure hope you listen to Miss Lusader and Miss Staley's tutorials for you. You must not, I cannot stress this enough, students. You notice that my voice is getting serious and I'm trying to look you right in the eyes, such as this is through a computer. You must not give up on your email. You have to stick with it. And Ms. Lusader and Ms. Staley and Mr. Paz have done some remarkable tutorials relative to how you can set up filtering so you don't get overwhelmed by the ocean or the waves of emails related to assignment posting and all of that. But stick with your email. It matters. It matters. That's what effective students do. They stay on top of their communication, okay? We're going to send you the Spartan update. That's our weekly newsletter. We'll send it usually on Saturday or Sunday. And then, of course, one of the primary means of communication is even made more important through distance learning is Google Classrooms. Your teachers have already got a bunch of stuff there, and I encourage you to look. All right. I think I'll leave these for our students to talk about. So, Colin and Andrew, everyone who's going to come on the panel a little bit, make sure that we're going to be talking about, some of the things to make our campus thrive. Now, Ms. Lusader, I think before we get to our student panel, there were a couple of kind of nuts and bolts questions. PE, log on to PE and you'll see, or log on to the classroom for your sports. If that's not exactly ready on the first day, don't worry about it, we're gonna get it. But those classes are all gonna still go on. Most likely what's gonna happen is that, for the athletics periods, because I think everyone knows, and if you don't, let me share with you, CIF, the sports governing body, has pushed athletics back into December for fall sports and into February and March for winter sports. So the 3 seasons are now combined down to 2. We're going to try to get athletics in late 2020 and early 2021, pandemic allowing, all right? Since many of you are enrolled in sports classes, you are still receiving credit for that, and those classes will continue, albeit perhaps asking you to engage in individual workouts and note those either through a log or a video log so that you can be graded and you can receive your credit. More details will come on that. We're really focusing on the academic classes to start Monday. Keep going, Ms. Lusader. What else?
Oh, this is a really good question, and I've answered it, but I think it's great to say. There are a lot of questions about how often are teachers going to be teaching live during the class periods.
Awesome. So unlike your spring distance learning, which was kind of an emergency transition, how kind of weirdly, kind of aligned is this? 5 months ago, yesterday, we closed La Cañada High School due to the pandemic on March 13th. Your teachers will teach daily, at the time that period, first period, third period, fifth period meets. And the expectation is that in a 40-minute period, they will be with you in a live manner for the first 20 minutes of the class at a minimum, and then may choose to allow breakout rooms, individual work, and then perhaps come back to wrap it up, okay? So that's gonna be the expectation, daily live instruction. That's why they're taking roll when the period starts. You need to be there on time. What else, Ms. Lucetter?
Students are asking about cameras needing to be on or off during class.
Yeah, your teachers are going to ask for your cameras to be on at the beginning, and I can appreciate there may be some challenges for some of you with that, either that it's broken, and that's the kind of thing that I want you to reach out to your individual teacher, but you'll hear expectations about that. I think the reason for it, everyone, is we want to make sure that you are in a place that is appropriate for working, kitchen table, your desk, your room, whatever, not bed. It's not bed. That's not where you're supposed to do distance learning from. Backyard, fine, at a table or wherever. And that we're actually seeing you and that you're following and engaging the lesson. And when we see you, just like you're seeing me right now, then we know that you're present and you're following along.
And your teachers are super excited to meet you, get to know you, and that's really hard when you're just a little avatar or just your initials. So, of course, there may be certain circumstances where this doesn't work for you, but if it's just a tech issue, you can, borrow a Chromebook. Will help you get that fixed. But, being able to set up class experiences where, it's okay, everybody, put one finger on your nose if you totally understand what I'm saying. There may be some experiences like that where teachers can get quick feedback and make the class lesson really great for you.
Thanks, Ms. Nusader.
Also another one is they may ask you to do some work and then show it. So for example, you guys have probably been in classes where you're working on something and the teacher walks around and kind of sees everything you're doing. There's ways to kind of lower the lid of your camera a little bit, or you'd hold up your work and they can give you feedback and really help you. So it really does support our learning goals.
That's great. Thank you. I want to bring in our student panelists right now and ask them to maybe just take 15 seconds or so to introduce themselves. Let us know, kind of the group or organization, that they are associated with, and then tell us their grade, and then we'll, get into our topic. So, Andrew, do you want to start?
I don't know if I think he might be one of the anonymous at Mr. Cardinals. So I don't know where he is.
All right. How about Colin Malillo?
Yeah, Colin's here. Colin and both Collins are here.
Just go?
Yep.
Hey, my name is Colin Malillo. I am the ASB Vice President. This year, I'm kind of in charge of the club process with ASB. So I guess if you have any questions about that, my email is just cmalillo21@mylcsd.net. So you can just throw those marks. I'm a senior.
Awesome. Good. Ms. James, are you on the call? Maybe same thing as Andrew.
Oh yeah, I found her. Hold on. I think I can move her over. Perfect. All right, she's jumping on.
Hi, I'm Carrie James. I'm the ASB secretary this year, and I'm kind of spearheading the publicity group in ASB, so I'll be helping run all the Instagrams and doing all the announcements and stuff.
Thanks, Carrie. Appreciate that. Colin Wang?
Hi, I'm Colin. I'm a rising junior. I'm part of the peer support program at our school. And if you ever need to talk to me or any of the peer supporters, you can contact peer support at ps@lcc.net. We're here to help you discuss whatever problems you might have and just be there for you.
Thank you, Colin. So peer support, that's terrific. Carolyn, are you here?
No, I wasn't able to find her. She's one of our anonymous gym cartons.
Well, that ends up sorting it out differently. So what we're hoping is our student panelists could maybe just talk a little bit about, their time at high school and specifically about why getting involved in school is not only fun, but I think super important to, creating some sense of purpose and attachment to school. Carrie or Colin, just go for it. Free form, whatever you want to say.
Okay, well, I guess I could say something about this. I want to specifically talk about the freshman year in high school and specifically what it should mean to you. Freshman year shouldn't be academically stressful for you. It's supposed to be your easiest year in high school. And you can see it's meant to be that because freshmen aren't allowed to take APs and they're not allowed to take APs so that you can have an academically stressless year. Additionally, we have two different GPAs, the 9 through 12 GPA and the 10 through 12 GPA, which sort of stresses how the freshman year should be taken a lot lighter than the other high school years. It's supposed to show how ready you are for the following years in high school. Additionally, the freshman year classes that you have, it's just an introduction. So it should allow you to see where you sort of fall in classes and how easy they're for you, and to sort of help you plan out your schedule for the rest of your high school career, and to choose classes that you know you're capable of taking and classes that you know that you want to take in classes you can do well in as well. For just developing a whole academic sort of mindset, and Cañada, why it's so important is that it's really important to develop this sort of love for education and for learning in life in general, just because there's so many different facets of life that you can get into and different people you can talk to and communicate with, and to sort of broaden your horizons and, I guess, for lack of better words, make the world a better place. Education allows you to talk to people and get to know different people and interact with them, and to make new friends and have a social life throughout your high school experience. It's really important to focus not only on academics, but also on the social environment that you're in, so that you can go through high school feeling good about yourself and having people you can talk to, and also vent to and be stress-free, while also working together on collaborative projects and enhancing your intellect and learning new things.
Thanks, Colin. Colin or Carrie, you want to go?
Yeah, I think I can talk about the importance of getting involved early. So I think it's important to get involved with the school early, starting in freshman year, because then I guess kind of like he was saying, the other years you might not be able to jump, onto the ship of getting involved because you'll have more advanced classes and larger course load. But if you get involved at the start, it's easier to stay involved than it is to get involved in the later years. So I think that it's important to join clubs and, extracurricular activities at the school early. I mean, this year is a little different, but we're still going to have clubs that you can join. So I think it's important just to try to get as many experiences through the activities that we offer your freshman year, so you can kind of get a feel of which ones you want to keep doing. And, so that the ones you want to go freshman year to senior year of high school, because high school does go by fast. And if you're not in all this stuff, it's going to pass you by, and then you might end up regretting that you didn't join that club or, that activity. So I think it's better to start joining them freshman year and just get a head start.
Thanks, Colin. I know that we're still working out a ton of details. Look, you should see the details that I'm trying to work out. So I get that. We're having a club day. I mean, we always have a club day, so we're going to, figure out how to do that virtually. Want students to get involved in clubs, follow the process. Maybe someone would choose to start a club, so, clubs are a really important part of the school experience, and they'll continue even at distance while we're online. Carrie, what do you think?
Yeah, so I freshman year, I didn't really know my place. I don't think I kind of was I looked into ASB, I looked into so many other clubs, and I joined ASB freshman year, but freshman year is kind of sophomore year, but freshman year is kind of a weird year. We're just kind of trying to figure out who you are. So try everything. You just join clubs, talk to people, meet new people. It's super important.
Appreciate that. Thank you. You know, I, for everyone in the ninth grade that, you know, is here as an attendee of orientation, you know, the panelists and I have not, you know, scripted this. We didn't rehearse it 50 times before like a play. So, you know, I'm interested to genuinely hear the three of your responses to this. You know, we've talked a little bit about success is defined differently, at least a stereotype. And we're all trying to break down stereotypes in this moment in history that we're living in, no matter anyone's age. The stereotype is that, you know, LC kids only are about academics, and that's the only thing that matters. How would you say, given your experience in high school, that you're thinking around about success now, and what are some things that you would want to share with the you know, students who are just starting high school for them to consider as they're starting to fashion their definition of success?
Okay, I'll start if no one. So basically, I think success, you can't really focusing on academics is super important, and making sure you're doing well in your classes is important. But honestly, being a kind person and including people in things is super important. Going into high school, you're going to meet so many new people because you guys were kind of split up into small schools. So now you're all kind of jumbled together in classes together. And it's super important to just meet other people and understand people's differences. And I think you'll become successful if you just talk to other people and interact with other people and learn from your mistakes and other people.
Carrie, thank you. Colin, any thoughts in that regard that you'd like to share? We're just talking generally about success, and, you know, academics are important. Obviously, it's, you know, why one comes to school in some respects, but there's other facets of it too. What's your experience kind of led you to be thinking right now that you want to share?
Well, I mean, I might be biased because I'm part of peer support, but I feel like a lot of success has to deal with your mental health and how well you're feeling. If you're taking a bunch of rigorous classes, a bunch of APs and honors, but you're stressed or you're depressed or you're always anxious about your next test and you're staying up till like 1 or 2 a.m. each night, then frankly, you're not succeeding, right? You have to be able to balance all sorts of different things, your classes, hobbies, and everything. You can't have your academic life take up your entire life. Like, I just don't think that would be the good definition of success, because you're not succeeding, right? You put so much effort into your academic success that you're losing yourself, like mentally and physically. And so if you're harming yourself through your academic career, then you're frankly not succeeding through it.
I appreciate that, Colin. Colin, Malilla, what do you think? Anything you want to add?
I think they did a pretty good job. I think just success is, you know, kind of finding your place, whether it's like sports or, you know, whatever. If you can find somewhere where you can just thrive in the high school atmosphere, I think that's pretty successful.
Yeah, very, very well stated. Well, we're coming to the end. I wanted to see, Mrs. Lusader, if there are any questions in the chat that maybe our panelists would, you know, be able to answer, and especially if their answers are different, because they're probably more accurate, right?
Mostly just logistical at this point. So there were a couple questions about, you know, how to get involved with clubs, how will picture day or yearbook work? Is peer support a way to get more involved with school?
Yeah, Colin, do you want to take that? Colin Wang, peer support,
Yeah,
getting involved in school?
yeah. I definitely think that peer support gets you more involved in school. One, because you're now part of a program that's aiming to help other students get through their problems. So you're able to interact with different students on different occasions. Along with that, peer support is actually really involved with the the school as a whole. We do a lot of talks and presentations. We do meetings with parents and stuff like that to sort of talk about the mental health of students and to communicate with other people about what exactly is going on in the school and when we're trying to fix it. So overall, peer support is definitely a good way to get involved in the school. And I also think it's a really good experience to be in, especially the very first year when you're in a group setting with a bunch of people who are there for the same reason as you.
Carrie or Colin, Malilo, students are going to be given an opportunity to purchase an ASB card here on our web store that's going to be unveiled in the next few days or so. Why should students do that?
So we're working on a lot of events that obviously we can't do a lot of in-person events, but working on a lot of events to bring people together. We're talking about doing a drive-in movie, which will be super fun. We're gonna do a bunch of virtual spirit weeks. We're just trying to keep everyone engaged while they're at home until we can go back to school.
That's awesome, Carrie. Thank you.
I would say that ASB cards, that's definitely a good buy, because hopefully by the second semester, I mean, even if it's just by the second semester, we should have everything back to normal in an idealistic world. And so if that's the case, then the ASB card is going to get you a lot of really good things. It's going to get you into the football and basketball games for free. It's going to get you discounts on a lot of ASB things like the dances we will be holding. So, and even when we first semester, it's gonna give you a lot of benefits, because we're trying to hold a lot of virtual events that you can get into for free with your ASB card. Or we're still kind of working out logistics, but I think it's definitely gonna be worth it, even if it's just for the second semester.
Okay, everyone, we're about to conclude our time. I'm going to turn one last time to Ms. Lusader and see if there's anything in the chat for the good of the order. Students, let's remember every Friday, please wear your Spartan gear to show up at Zoom class or class. If you don't have Spartan gear, we'll send out a note so you can buy a t-shirt, or a hat or whatever. Definitely do that. Want to make sure that folks are feeling connected, that you are confidently accessing your classes starting on Monday. Remember, look at your mylcusd.it email and check out Google Classroom for the directions about how to get to your class. I look forward to seeing you in the very first opportunity that we can come back to school. If you note, my background is I'm working in my office at La Cañada High School, and I can promise you this: as the sun will come up, these are same kinds of truths. The sun will come up tomorrow. 20 acres of comprehensive high school is not built for silence. It's built for you all. It's built for laughing, sometimes crying. It's built for games and fun and students and passing periods and tests and everything else. And we miss you terribly and can't wait for the moment where we'll get a chance to bring you back. So, Ms. Lusader, anything finally for the good of the order?
I just want to say, any students that didn't get their questions answered, we answered 112 in the chat.
Wow.
There's about 17 left that we have to get to, so we'll get some of those posted up on the website for you if we weren't able to get to your question.
Try every day. Try your best. That's the only thing finally anyone could ever ask. Try your best. Show up authentically, right? Be yourself. Right, I know you have a ton of people, starting with me, your principal, and Mr. Ito, who's also listening on this call, Mrs. Cal, though she's on medical leave, the Wellness Center staff, your counselors, your teachers, the support staff from Miss Icklin outside and Miss Milton, that are just right outside my office. They're all rooting for you and want really help and support you. You got peer support, an amazing team of peer listeners there. We have an exceptional ASB represented by Carrie and Colin. Andrew is on the call too. I'm just sorry, Andrew, we couldn't work that bit out. And Carolyn's part of peer support call too.
I found Andrew. You'll get to see his face.
All right. That's Andrew, our ASB, amazing ASB president. I'm so sorry that we couldn't work that out. You want to get the final word, sir?
I can introduce myself real quick.
Perfect.
I'm Andrew Hahn. I'll be the ASB president. I'm a rising senior, and I'm excited to see you guys if we do go back to school, but in this virtual format. Hopefully we do get to interact somehow, either via ASB or I don't know, maybe we have classes together. I don't know if that's possible, but I don't know. Hopefully we get to see each other sometime soon.
That's awesome. Thank you, Andrew. And thank you everyone for making time. We're going to stop the recording here in a second. I'd like to personally thank our panelists, Colin, Carrie, Andrew, and Carolyn. You know, Mrs. Lusader, quite literally, none of this happens without you and the tireless efforts of your team. Thank you. Thank you to Mr. Ito, who has been supporting in the background all week. Hey, everyone, by the way, great job, freshmen. 355 of you out of 380 came and got your books today and your schedules, so terrific. Anyone on the call, if you happen to have known students or families that simply were out of town or missed it, we're having a makeup textbook pickup on Monday the 17th, this coming Monday from 2 to 3:15 out in the front parking lot here at LCHS, and again on Thursday from 2 to 3:15, okay? Be well, everyone. Have a great, great weekend. Please be safe and know how much we look forward to seeing you, even if it is in Zoom class or Google Meets on Monday. Go Spartans. Thank you. See ya. Bye.
Bye, everyone.